If you're involved with the Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Program, you need to listen up because the rules are about to change in a huge way. And in this explainer, we're going to break down exactly what's different, why it's happening, and most importantly, what it means for your business.
Okay, let's just cut right to the chase. That date you see right there, October 3rd, 2025. You need to circle it, underline it, put it in your calendar because it is a hard deadline. And this affects everyone. Whether you're already a certified DBE or you're thinking about applying, no one gets a pass on this.
So, here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll look at the big shift, what's actually changing. Then we'll dig into the why behind it all. And then, and this is the most important part, we're going to walk you through exactly what you need to do. Think of this as your roadmap for getting through this new process.
All right, let's dive right in. What is the one single biggest change at the very core of this new rule?
This slide really lays it all out, doesn't it? Over on the left, that was the old way. For some folks, you were automatically presumed to be disadvantaged just based on your group. But look at the right, that's the new rule. Now everybody, and I mean everybody, has to prove it on an individual basis with their own personal story. The bottom line here, it's not about what group you belong to anymore. It's about what you've personally gone through. Now you might be wondering, why the huge change? I mean, a shift this big doesn't just happen overnight. So let's take a look at the legal rulings that really set all of this in motion. Yeah, this quote from the Federal Register gets right to the point. The Department of Transportation and the Department of Justice looked at the old rules and basically said, this isn't constitutional. Automatically assuming someone is disadvantaged based on race or sex, well, they determined that just doesn't align with the law of the land.
And you know, this wasn't some snap decision. As you can see on this timeline, it was a process. It started with a court ruling back in September 2024. Then came some presidential executive orders. Then the DOJ announced it wouldn't defend the old rules anymore. All of these were dominoes falling, one after another, leading straight to this new rule that kicks in this October.
Okay, so we've covered the what and the why. Now let's get to the really practical stuff, the how. And that brings us to what is now the single most important piece of your application, the personal narrative. So what in the world is a personal narrative? Well, it's pretty much what it sounds like. It's your story, in your words, usually about 1 to 2 pages long. But here's the key. It's not just about telling them you faced barriers. You have to show them using hard facts, real-life examples, and, this is critical, the paperwork to prove it. And the good news is, you're not just staring at a blank page. There's a clear 5-step structure to follow. You'll start with a basic intro, who you are, what your business is. Then you get into the specific social barriers you faced. Step 3 is all about connecting those barriers to an economic disadvantage. Step 4, and this is a big one, is where you actually show the financial heat you took with evidence. And then you just wrap it all up with a solid conclusion. I like to tell people to think of it like you're an attorney building a case for a client, and that client is you. You've got to prove 3 key things. First, the social disadvantage. Maybe it was bias in school or at a past job. Second, the economic disadvantage that came from it, being turned down for a loan you deserved. And third, you have to show the measurable impact, the actual dollars and cents lost. And just like in a courtroom, you need evidence. They want to see at least 2 solid pieces of documentation to back up your claims. All right, so you know the structure. That's half the battle right there. But now, let's get into the nitty-gritty of how to write a narrative that's not just good, but strong, one that really makes your case. Sometimes the best way to get something right is to know what the common mistakes are. So let's look at what to avoid. Vague statements like, I had a hard time, just won't cut it. You need to be super specific with details and dates, and you have to connect the dots for them. You have to show exactly how a personal experience directly hurt your business. And please, don't forget the financial proof. This isn't a tweet. It's a full 1 to 2 page story. You got to put in the work. Okay, now this right here is a perfect example. Let's dissect this for a second. See how specific it is? In 2019, a $50,000 loan. They even mention their strong credit score, which makes the denials seem even more unfair. And notice the Exhibit A? That's them pointing directly to their evidence, the denial letter. But the most powerful part is that last sentence. It connects everything, the loan denial to a real-world business consequence, losing an NYSDOT subcontract. That, right there, is the magic formula. So before you even think about hitting submit, pull up this checklist. Seriously, go down the list one by one. Is it 1 to 2 pages? Check. Did I use concrete examples with dates? Check. Is the financial proof in there? Check. Do I have at least 2 exhibits, and did I reference them? Check. Is it signed and dated? Check. If you can honestly check off every single one of these boxes, you are in great shape. Okay, we're in the home stretch now. Let's talk about what you need to do right now and the deadlines you absolutely cannot miss. Okay, for all the currently certified DBEs out there, this is absolutely critical. Listen closely. You are not grandfathered in. I'll say it again. There's no free pass here. Every single existing DBE has to be re-evaluated under these new rules. And yes, that means you too will have to write and submit a personal narrative to keep your certification.
And that brings us right back to the date of the hour, October 3rd, 2025. That's the day this all becomes real. It's when the new rules are officially on the books and the new standards are in effect.
Now, I know this can all sound a little daunting, but here's the best part. You are not in this alone. Your certifying agency is going to be putting out guidance to help you through it. And there are incredible resources out there, like the LaGuardia Apex Accelerator, that offer free one-on-one help. Your local Apex Accelerator is another great place to turn. So please, don't try to go it alone. Reach out and get the help that's available.
So when you boil it all down, this entire shift is about one thing. The automatic is out and the personal is in. It's no longer about a box you check. It's about the story you tell. Your personal experience, backed up by solid proof, is now the key. So the only question left is your story ready to be told?